Okay, hi, here we are again, and now we're going to continue talking about future forms. And this time we're going to talk about a difficult one, and that is will. Now, you think that will might be easy because many people call it the simple future. That is kind of ironic because it absolutely is not simple. So let's start off with one of the uses of will, and that is to talk about something in terms of a prediction or in terms of how likely something might or might not happen in the future. Very often we use that with words like probably, with I think, with I'm sure, sometimes with I wonder. So, for example, it will, remember you can make it short like that, probably rain tomorrow. Now, you're not sure about if it will rain tomorrow. You're not very sure, but you're thinking probably, okay? Or you can say, I think they'll win the game, okay? There you are, fairly sure, okay? Here's another one. I wonder what will happen. And here you're not sure, not unsure, you're wondering. And in all of those cases, you've used will. And so that's one way of using will. So not very sure, not certain, expressing a certain degree of likelihood with expressions such as probably, I think, I'm sure, I wonder. What don't you use with will? Well, you don't use when. So don't use that. You cannot say when I will. Okay? Don't use I hope. I hope it will. No, usually we actually say I hope he goes tomorrow. We don't use hope with will. Sometimes yes, sometimes not. Okay? So be careful with the use of hope, and we don't use will after if. If I will go, that is not correct. Okay? That's will, that's the first part of will. Let's continue. The other times we might use will if we are making a promise or if we're making a threat to someone. For example, I'll call you. That's a promise, okay? I'll never forget you. I'll never forget you. That's a promise. Maybe even it's a threat. Who knows? So when you're promising or threatening someone, you can use will. Finally, another use of will is if you're making an offer. Sometimes this is also making an instant decision. For example, you see somebody who's struggling with their bag and you say, I'll help you with that. I'll help you with that. And you go ahead and help them. Or somebody needs a lift to the station and you say, oh, she'll drive you to the station. Or perhaps you're in a restaurant, you've been looking at the menu, the waiter or waitress comes along and you say, I'll have the fish, please. That is more of an example of an instant decision. So making an offer very often is an instant decision. I'll help you with that because you see the person struggling with the bag. She'll drive you to the station. You've pretty much made that decision while you say the sentence. Or I'll have the fish, please. That's an instant decision as well. Okay? Just to recap, will is strange. Will is not very easy. We use it to make predictions, talk about how likely something is to happen, using these words and other similar ones. We don't use it when we use when or I hope or if, don't use will. Promise or a threat is another time when we can use will. I'll call you, I'll never forget you, I'll kill you, okay? And finally, making an offer or making an instant decision. For example, I'll help you with that. She'll drive you to the station, or I'll have the fish, please. Okay, don't worry if you find this difficult because will can be a little tricky. See you next time.